The Prophetic Almanac, Jan 19 to Jan 30 to 6 Feb. Hello, I'm here to share these intriguing prophecies from the Prophetic Almanac, spanning mid-January to the end of January 2026, and possibly into early February. I'll read each one thoughtfully, then offer my insights on how they might tie into the unfolding events of our world today. Let's begin. First prophecy, the March of Victory. Thousands will line the streets of a great capital to celebrate a hard-won peace. This victory parade will be one of the most documented events in human history, marking the formal end of an era of global combat. This seems to echo the recent ceasefire agreements in Syria, where the Syrian army has secured key regions like the Tishreen Dam and begun deployments in Al Jazeera, potentially signaling the end of prolonged clashes with Kurdish forces. With global media coverage intensifying, it could foreshadow a major public celebration in Damascus or another capital if peace holds amid the fall of old regimes. Alternatively, this could be interpreted as a scenario in which a United States military strike against Iran precipitates a profound internal upheaval. In the aftermath of such an action, mounting domestic unrest and political pressure could lead to a regime change, ultimately resulting in the removal of the Ayatollah from power and a fundamental reconfiguration of Iran's governing structure. Second prophecy, a king's burden. A young monarch will meet a tragic and mysterious end in his palace. This event will thrust a new, untested leader onto the throne who will reign for decades to come. In light of the escalating protests in Iran, where the death toll has climbed to thousands and the supreme leader faces unprecedented challenges, this might relate to the potential downfall or mysterious demise of a key figure in the regime. Reports of internal power struggles suggest a successor could emerge, possibly the exiled Prince Reza Pahlavi, who has garnered support from defecting forces, leading to a long-term shift in leadership. Third prophecy, the will of the people will result in a great vote which will be finalized. The people have spoken, which will begin the formal transition to a republic ending centuries of rule. This aligns with the political upheavals in Venezuela following the U.S. intervention and capture of President Maduro. With his vice president fleeing to Russia and Trump pushing for a Western-friendly transition government, ongoing discussions about elections or referendums could formalize Venezuela's shift toward a more democratic republic, ending decades of authoritarian socialist rule. Fourth prophecy, the struggle for the soil. In the shadows, the truce is failing. Behind the scenes, orders are being given for a massive redistribution of land and power, setting the stage for a violent clash of ideologies. Current tensions in Syria come to mind, where the government's advance into Kurdish-held territories east of Aleppo and the declaration of closed military zones indicate a failing truce and forced redistribution of land. This could escalate into ideological clashes between Syrian forces, Kurds, and lingering Islamist elements, mirroring broader Middle Eastern power realignments. Or alternatively, this could be interpreted as a reference to President Donald Trump's expressed interest in acquiring Greenland, a proposal that has drawn significant criticism and disbelief from many European leaders. Viewed by critics as diplomatically provocative and historically anachronistic, the idea has been met with widespread contempt across Europe, where it is seen as disregarding Greenland's autonomy, Denmark's sovereignty, and established international norms. Fifth prophecy, the last departure. A leader will leave his country. This leader will fly into exile, a man without a country, as his homeland officially embraces the identity of a republic. This strikingly resembles Maduro's situation in Venezuela. He's been captured by U.S. forces, but effectively exiled from power, becoming a man without a country as the nation transitions under U.S. oversight toward Republican governance. His vice president's flight to Russia adds to the narrative of leaders fleeing amid regime change. Alternatively, this could be read as a forecast in which Greenland's leader, Jens Frederik Nielsen, is compelled to step aside or leave office under conditions shaped by President Trump's demands. In this interpretation, external political pressure and strategic bargaining impose terms that override Greenland's internal political autonomy, forcing its leadership into an untenable position and signaling a dramatic shift in power dynamics surrounding the island's future. Sixth prophecy, the atomic decision. A man will stand before a council of nations and offer a choice. He will propose a plan to put the power of nuclear weapons under global lock and key, a moment that will determine the fate of the world. With President Trump threatening strikes on Iran's nuclear sites amid the protest crackdown and imposing tariffs on countries trading with Iran, this could refer to his potential address to the UN or allies, proposing international control or restrictions on Iran's nuclear program. UN Chief Antonio Guterres has already criticized U.S. unilateralism, highlighting a pivotal global decision point. Seventh prophecy, the silent docks. A great tension will see thousands of maritime workers to abandon their posts. Only a last-minute intervention will prevent the global supply chain from grinding to a halt. Amid U.S. tariffs on European allies over Greenland and broader trade wars, including 25% tariffs on chips and threats to Iran traders like China, this might connect to potential strikes or abandonments by maritime workers in key ports. Reports of supply chain strains from Venezuela's oil cutoff to Cuba and global economic volatility could lead to such a crisis, averted only by diplomatic intervention. Eighth prophecy, the divided continent. In the heart of Europe, new borders are being hardened. Expect announcements regarding the administration of occupied zones as the leaders of Europe threats begin to take physical form. Europe is indeed dividing over Trump's Greenland demands, with EU ambassadors holding emergency meetings and threats of tariffs on 8 allies, including Denmark. Announcements about occupied zones could relate to hardened stances on NATO's high north security or even Ukraine's occupied territories, where Russia continues strikes, solidifying physical and ideological borders. Ninth prophecy, a new kingdom rises, a desert territory ends. This will be recognized as an independent kingdom, signaling the continued dismantling of the old empires. This could tie into shifts in the Middle East, such as Yemen's internal changes with the closure of illegal prisons and government gains, or even Saudi-UAE tensions in the desert regions. Broader dismantling of old empires is evident in Syria's fall of Assad-era structures and potential recognition of new autonomous zones, like in northern Syria. 10th prophecy, the Republic is born. A state, territory, country will officially be proclaimed a republic replaced by democratic governance. Again, Venezuela's post-Maduro transition stands out, with US-backed moves toward democratic governance and the release of political prisoners, signaling an official proclamation of a republic. Iraq's full withdrawal of US forces might also pave the way for reaffirmed Republican identity amid regional changes. 11th prophecy, the new laws of the air. A great government will begin to charge its citizens for the privilege of internet use, turning the internet into a regulated and profitable resource. In the UK, over 60 Labour MPs are urging a ban on social media for under 16s, while Iran's regime has imposed internet blackouts during protests. Trump's tariffs and US retreats from multilateralism could extend to digital regulations. But more directly, India's gig worker demands and global AI ad integrations, like ChatGPT showing ads, hint at turning the internet into a taxed, regulated resource. 12th prophecy, the unseen energy. In secret laboratories, the world's first quantum computer will be pushed to its limits. It will prove that it can calculate trajectory and logic faster than ever imagined. With major quantum computing advancements listed among 2026's key events, including NASA's Artemis missions and AI breakthroughs, this likely refers to breakthroughs in US or Chinese labs. The World Economic Forum's chief economist's outlook discusses AI, bubbles, and tech resilience, suggesting secret tests could demonstrate unprecedented computational power for trajectories in space or military logic. 13th prophecy, the Earth's unrest. A great pressure builds beneath the Earth's crust in the North Pacific. A massive seismic shift is imminent, The ground will soon heave with a force that will be felt across the seas. Recent reports of large earthquakes in Japan, M76, the Philippines, M64, and Yukon, M70 in the North Pacific region match this exactly. Astrological posts about planetary convergences tie into these seismic events, with potential tsunamis or aftershocks felt across seas, amid other disasters like Chile's wildfires and Spain's train crash. And that concludes our reading of these prophecies. They paint a vivid picture of transformation and tension, much like the world we're navigating today. Thank you for listening.